welcome to NUFC Talk TV. Am I freezing? Yes, I am.
You froze. Yeah, you
so
froze.
let me just fix that real quick. There we go. Welcome to
There we
NUFC Talk TV live with an instant match reaction. Breaking news, of course. Everybody knows Newcastle United making it to Champions League in such a short amount of time. Last time it was 20 years before we made it there, and now just happens to be one season that we missed out by the skin of our teeth as well. And because Man United won the FA Cup, but look at that, Man United did us a favor today, beating Aston Villa well. They did us a favor and we're through. So we did enough this season to qualify for Champions League. That's great. We did battle today. We didn't perform, and it was more about the performance of the players. It almost I was looking at the comments, and I was following the game the whole time I was at church, which is my pastor or father won't like to know about. but the comments were constant. You know, what's going on? The lads don't seem up to it. Some of them are on vacation. You know, like that type of criticism from the comments of the people. You know, that have been active on the channel, and so we'll talk about that, of course. In a moment, we got Tiger Studios in the background. We'll bring him on in a minute. But first and foremost, you know, big thank you to everybody that's tuned in for the watch along. It was great numbers. I mean, people have been showing up today in the last game of the season. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, everybody that's been involved. Derek doing his videos on the in the grounds over there. So that was great. So hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Become a member of the channel. It helps us support the channel. I've seen a lot of people become members today. And there's a guy, Paul Keon, I think, in the Paul McKeon becoming a member today. So, you know, thanks to everybody, really. Amazing job. And now let's get to football. I mean, Newcastle ended up by the skin of our teeth in Champions League. You can tell Eddie Howe and the players were, as soon as the match was over, you know, they had concerns. We can't do this. We can't play like this, man. We cannot play like this. But then obviously joyous that we were able to make it through. I think if we wouldn't have been in Champions League, it would be gut-wrenching. It would be. And but we made it. We made it, which is great. And now we can put our name once again in a short amount of time with the big dogs, with the elite teams, with the elite clubs. No matter how we want to draw it, shape it, no matter how we want to talk about it, thank you to Mercury Dime, we are now where the elite teams is. That's what Champions League is. It's a different world. It's a different view, you know, and we are there once again. Thank you, Mercury Dime. He says, today was about the season as a whole. Yeah, we sucked today, but onwards and upwards. So, yep, there we go. Agree with that. And, well, I mean, great commentary, Gary. And it was
hard, mate.
Yeah,
it was hard.
It looked like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, probably if I'm going to go and really throw a curveball, it was probably the worst performance of the season on the final day of the season. With so much riding onto it, there was so many changes to the formation and so many poor performances out there today, and it was a shame to finish at home as poorly as they did. And I feel, you know, listen, we've got Champions League. That is like I said, at the end of the day, it's the season that defines your position. And post December, the lads have proved that they are class to get in the top five, to get a cup as well. But at the end of the day, we also now see that under the spotlight, sometimes performances can dwindle. When the going gets tough, sometimes you need captains to step up, and that's it. You know, for me, Tony's just thrown a question, and Gary, how was the crowd? I don't have the sound in my ear, matey, so I can't say. But it looked loud at the start. It really did look like the crowd were with them. But obviously, you could see a lot of nervous faces and twitches in the crowd after half time. So very, very difficult to analyse where it went wrong. But like I said, it's a season performance, and wow, what a season it's been.
Yeah. It's been great. Let me welcome the people in, the fans here. We got Tiger Studios, Umar Khan joining us as well. Tiger, how you doing, mate? All good?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Mate, we done it, man, in the Champions League.
Yeah, once again. Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
we got to thank
we have to
Man
rely
United
on.
for once. You know, we always hating on them, but they done us a favor. I can't say too long, but I just want to say my thoughts on the game. And before that, obviously, good that we got Champions League. Season's been, I would say 9, close to a 10. You know, we won the cup, we got Champions League, so happy with that. But I think today it was so poor. And like Gary, you were right. Like when there's like the crunch times and the big games like this where we need to get over the line, that our players just seem to panic a lot in the final third. Like we can have all the possession in the world, but in the final third, we just lose ideas. And I've said, like, there's so many players now that need to be gone in the summer, like Wilson, Willock. I don't care like what Jacob Murphy's done this season. He was shocking today.
Well,
Like,
you
honestly, I
can't
don't
forget
care, like,
what he's done this season.
honestly, how he's got 20 goals and assists this season, I'm still baffled.
But he's got them. He's got them. And
He has contributed this season. Well done. But I've said for a while, next season we need 2 quality wingers. And we need that number 10 as well. We need that creative midfielder that can unlock the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And this summer's gonna be a big one. And like Howe said in his press conference that he wants transfers done early. Let's see like if it does happen now.
Well, and that's now the ball is on Mitchell's court and everybody there.
Yeah, Mitchell needs to deliver now.
Yeah, he certainly does. I agree with that. I agree with you. Thank you, Mackenzie family. For it says for the super chat says Osula look class, needs more than 5 minutes, and which is crazy. But people saying in the chat that he was the best player on the pitch today.
Yeah.
He tried to get things going, didn't he? And that's what I said. Out on that right hand side, he seems so much more of a threat than the player through the middle. Yeah, he brings energy to the team, and that's what I said. No defense likes a player that's going to get the ball and run at you. No defense. Doesn't matter how high in the league you are, you know, and that's the type of player that we need. It's just too easy. I mean, like I said, they had literally a makeshift back four today, and they didn't get in any trouble whatsoever. And it comes to something when Pickford gets man of the match, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, he was good today. You know, like,
yeah.
It's hard to.
Sorry, I need my battery up. 2 seconds.
He was good, and but you know what? Like,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me get Umar. Umar, how you doing, mate?
Okay, Chris, I'm gonna go.
Okay, see you, Tiger. Take care.
Anyway, I'll see you guys next season.
All the best, buddy. Take care, buddy.
Cheers. Cheers.
Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Doing good.
Long that was going on, and I couldn't see us scoring. You know, we had so many chances. You've got to take them chances. They will kick you in the backside.
Right.
The league if you don't take them chances.
Yeah. What do you think on the overall season, though? I mean, we did good. I mean, we did pretty good, didn't we?
Yeah, we did good. Yeah, we didn't have many injuries compared to last season.
No, that was a big deal. I think the injuries started creeping up at the end, though, and we started the challenges a bit. But I agree, we were lucky in that sense. Yeah.
Now we've got Champions League. We need to strengthen like two players in each position at least.
Yeah. That's going to be the board's homework, and it's going to be one heck of a job. I just don't think that you can bring all these players that having money, let alone not having money. I don't think the negotiations and seeking the talent, I don't think that's easy. And to close all these deals in one window, I think that's not going to be easy. But hopefully, it is for them, and we can bring at least 2-3 players, at least 2. That can be a massive different makers for the tune.
Plus a goalkeeper, right winger, centre back.
And that's the thing. I don't think that we need a goalkeeper, though. That's the thing. I don't think that should be our priority at this point in time. But it looks like it's going to be anyway, whether we like it or not. So that we're going to go get that goalkeeper, and that may not take a lot of effort, to be honest. Just got to go and get Trafford. And maybe that's not going to take us a long time, but. And then we can focus on other players. But this season has been a good one. It's been a good one. I think that Eddie Howe the way he looked at the end of the match, look of concern, but it makes me happy to a certain extent because he knows what he's not blindsided by the fact that we just made Champions League, but he's going to work on why we couldn't just seal the game at the end of the season. Because that's what. Cause we made it by the skin of our teeth, man. We can't. When you talk about analyzing the season, you've got to bring in that game as well at the end, and with all of our good players, we should have done better.
I think we'll keep our best players for this summer, like Isak, Bruno.
Yeah, we should be able to. I think.
We've got Champions League.
Yeah, we should be able to. All right, then, Umar. Last thoughts, mate, on this season or tonight's performance.
Yeah, overall good season.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, we'll see. Hope to see you back again, maybe this off season or the next season. But appreciate you for coming on and having your say, mate.
Yeah, no bother. Yeah.
All the best, Umar.
All the best, Umar Khan. And Andy has been jumping on, and I thought he could hear us. But a lot of people in the comments, having their opinions said out loud. It looks like Peacock is obviously now focused on Newcastle and focusing on the champions of the Premier League, who are Liverpool, and they are racing the trophy at Anfield. So well deserved as well for them. They clearly, they won the cup by a long shot. It wasn't even in play. So congratulations to Liverpool as well. A lot of people, Manchester United did us a favor. So thanks to them, I guess you can say that they didn't just because they're done. They were done. They had nothing to play for. So the fact that they went out there and actually gave it a go because it was a close game, from what I can tell. And then obviously Aston Villa did a little things to help our cause as well. But Andy Bell, welcome. And what do you think, mate? How do you rate the season in this game?
Oh, first of all, sorry about that. That was my fault. No technical issues on your behalf, Chris, for a change. Season overall, I think we've got to look at the positives, Chris. We've got to look at the fact that
they're going on.
Yeah, we've got to look at the fact. Firstly, we can arguably keep the best players that we've got because we've got Champions League. I think for me that is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that we won a cup, I never thought. I thought I was going to go to my grave and not see us win a cup. I'm sure Gary was probably in that boat as well, being 2 or 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at it with, I think, glossy glasses. The last game of the season is a game that we should have won. I did predict us to lose, horrifically so. We've got to. We just need, and I'm sure Gary's alluded to this many a times, and he's more articulately than I. We are not able to bring players into the game when we take our best players off and affect the game.
Yeah.
And that was, for me. Look, Gordon came off at halftime. Did anybody notice any shift in momentum at the start? I didn't. So therefore, for me. Should he have been taken off? Possibly, yeah, because I don't think he was affecting the game. But we don't have a player in his place, if Barnes is starting, that can do that. So,
but I feel sorry for the likes of Harvey Barnes. Sorry for butting in, mate.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Harvey Barnes, he's playing right side, left side, then back onto the right side.
Behind the striker.
Behind the, where are you going to get momentum from? If you're being moved backwards and forwards, what's got to happen now is that, you've got to start saying to yourself, you are our left-sided player and that's your position until you lose it. Yeah, exactly. Gordon's done nothing since he's come back, mate. I understand the situation where you've got to put your best 11 on the park. I understand that. But since we have had Gordon back in the side, we seem to have lost the momentum going forward. We look clinical with Harvey Barnes on that left-hand side. We looked like we were building things. We were creating chances. We don't seem to be creating as much clear-cut chances as we do with Anthony Gordon.
And he's also doing it in a shape today, obviously for the last 3 games, where we played 3 at the back. Now, I was talking to Josh on Wednesday night, and I said I thought he'd go with 3 at the back because I thought we had a bit of the game in our previous game. We had the ball. We were going to, if you've got the ball against Everton, you would expect that you're going to create chances. But you're only going to create chances if people are actually willing to run in behind and actually move. Isak today he was, yeah. I don't want to nail him, but he was not anywhere near even his B game today wasn't there, in my opinion. He had a couple of good touches on the ball where he looks flashy, but striker-wise, he was miles off it.
We seem to have lost our momentum, but it's crazy. It may be as simple as we ran out of gas, and you run out of gas, man. Sometimes you run out of gas right at the time where you are next to the gas station or the what do you call it? What do you guys call it over the petrol station?
Petrol station.
Yeah.
And that's just good enough because you made it, right? And fortunately for us, that was the case, that we just made it to the petrol station. We can refuel now, and we didn't get stranded in the middle of the road, right?
Yeah.
So I think
I've
that's
got something to thank my wife for, by the way, because Man United's done us up.
That is the worst. That is the worst thing. That was exactly what I was thinking. I was like, no, please. Like, every Man United spot has been given it. We gave you Champions League.
And by the way, we didn't have J7 as well. I saw something from Boki. We missed J7 as well. I mean, he is an enforcer.
Here, Chris? Sorry.
Yeah. No, go
Everybody's seen my Tom Hardy poster here. It's not mine. It's
there we go.
It's definitely mine.
We put the comments there because a lot of people are chatting right now. A lot of people are joining the channel. Please hit the like button, subscribe, become a member if you can, and you can see your chat scrolling through, so everybody can have their opinion either said out loud or read out loud if you don't want to join us. But we've had a wonderful season. If you look at from the perspective, you zoom out and look at the perspective of the whole season. The last game certainly raises some questions, but certain players, it seems like the meritocracy is not there. Like the basic rule of if I do well, I play, sometimes is not there, right? Like Barnes was playing great. He's been a good tool, but he's the first one to suffer when the other guys, like Gordon, seems to have the
It's the prime example, Chris, not the centre backs. The fact that Botman's fit and we've changed shape to accommodate the fact that Botman's fit, rather than just either taking Shaw or Burn out in playing the way that is getting us to where we are, playing 4 at the back.
Mm-hmm.
We always seem to be better when we're 4 in the back. Why he's changed it to 3? Because that just doesn't give you defence right. It's just wrong.
But I thought it was going to be for the Arsenal game because we did well the first time when we did the cup game. But then he continued that today, which I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he has that point that Byrne has served us, and he did. He has served us this season so well.
Great.
Shar actually not as well in the beginning of the season. Then he kind of steered the ship in the right direction to where he doesn't want to drop those guys off, and he feels like he needs to play Botman. So he's caught in no man's land, Eddie Howe, but he's going to have to make a decision. That's what he's there to do.
What I'm asking is should the manager have to change his thinking for the sake of accommodating a player rather than just keeping his shape and making a difficult decision, which is Byrne has arguably been top 3 player for Newcastle this season. Maybe player of the season this season. Obviously, Isak scored all the goals. But he scored that header in a cup final, which for me was a daydream, I'll be honest. Just one of them come out, put Botman in, or is that signifying that he thinks that Botman's not fit enough or up to speed that we'll have to play 3 at the back? No, I think he's trying to get the wing backs further forward. I think that's what he's trying. But
I think for me, what you saw today and what was evident was an absolutely quality striker leading a line. Now, I say that with tongue in cheek because he's not a quality striker.
No, I'm with you.
Beto today for Everton was head and shoulders. I mean, head and shoulders their best player. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how Pickford's got man of the match. He caused Shaw problems. He caused Botman problems. I mean, obviously, people will say, you're talking at your arse. I appreciate that.
Even
when you're leading a line on your own and you win over 50% of your aerial duels, which is what he's done, when you think of the amount of possession that Newcastle have had, which is over 60% of the game, everything that went wrong for Pickford was he,
Won it.
on his own, was just
Yeah.
winning his individual battles.
Yeah.
And when you've got a lad that's willing to put himself on the line, he gave everything for Everton today. Absolutely
I totally
everything.
agree with you. Totally agree.
And here's the thing. I think just looking at the stats again, I was at church following the game. I wasn't actually, focused and watching it. But just looking at the stats, it's overwhelming towards Newcastle United, right? So, and you know me, I don't like when people watch a game by stats, but
No.
it does put things into
Proves
perspective.
nothing, does it?
But I mean, 66% of possession. That means that to me means that we were in control, no matter whether we were proactive and doing something with the ball or not. That's to the guys that watch the game
I'm
and focus on the
of the
game.
opinion that we could still be playing now and we wouldn't have scored.
Well, and that could
No.
very well be a case of that as well. Mighty Win is there he is in the pub.
Yeah, guys, listen, I can't hear anything. As long as you can hear me,
Yeah, we can
that's
hear
the main
you.
thing.
We can hear you.
Get that shaver out. Get
I
that
gotta shave my head. I gotta
Get
shave my
that
head,
napper
man.
shave. O ye of little faith.
I've got my shit. I gotta shave my head.
I said there would be many a twist and turn before the end of the season, and all the games weren't going to go as planned. But I still had faith.
Well,
I still had faith.
we all have
And
faith.
we've done it, boys. Carabao Cup and Champions League.
Yeah.
What
That's
about that?
Yeah, very
I'd
true.
love to be able to hear what you're saying, but I can't, sadly. Having the same problem with me phone as a lot of people seem to have. But anyway, never mind. Happy days, happy days. I want to get some interviews, and we'll be back on tonight, hopefully. Catch you later.
Well,
How are the lads?
See you later. See you later.
Come on. It'd be interesting.
I don't think
Chris,
we-
it'd be interesting to see whether Wynn was able to get close to Wilson's reaction, because clearly
Wilson's gone. Well, I mean, he said bye. He said goodbye.
Gone.
There's no way around it. This was his
he was
last
in
game.
tears right at the end.
And
I didn't see that. I was rushing home to get to do this.
And we're gonna get into your full take, Stephen, on this game. But Notorious says only 33 likes and 187 watching. It's actually 240 watching now. So please smash the like button, support the channel if you're a Newcastle United fan. This is the channel for you, bringing you all things Newcastle United, 24/7 coverage of the tune. So get your fraudulent thumbs on the like button, says Notorious. So get the thumbs up. No matter, this is the channel about freedom of speech towards Newcastle United. No matter what you think on players, coaches, managers, whoever, your opinion is respected on this channel. You don't get banned for football opinions as long as we keep it football.
you may get hammered if you called Wynn off Chris. But
well, listen, you can call me whatever you want, and your opinion is very much respected. So, Steve, what do you think about the game in a whole, and obviously this season? What are your thoughts?
The game, I think we're unlucky that we didn't score. The amount of chances we had, I can see in a way why Pickford got man of the match, because, like I say, the amount of chances we had, the saves he made, I suppose that's one of the reasons he got it, in the end. But I was frustrated that when we did have the ball, we seemed to be hesitating from long shots.
Mm-hmm.
That is really frustrating me. The amount of times we could have just hit the ball and had a go was just ridiculous. It was just we're hesitant to do long shots. I think there's not many players that do them. And Shah is an example. He loves his long shots, but unless you get the ball to him to do that, he's not going to do it. He had one chance, and as far as I was concerned, I thought it was a deflection.
Yeah, it was.
And we should have had a corner off that.
Jem Stasher says, "What chances?" Well, again, I can't speak on chances in particular, but looking at the stats, we got 6 shots on target for us, 6 shots on target for them, though. Same amount.
Pope was the busier the keeper.
He was. He pulled off some really good saves, Pope. I think with Isak today, my thing with him is he seems to be, every time he's got an injury, they rush him back. And think then he's not really match fit. I would have maybe not started with him today. I'd have maybe given Asula a chance. He's not giving him enough chances to get on the pitch and play. That boy will score goals.
Well, you can assume that that's going to change now. Well, if we don't get a striker for some reason, and I know that could be a
we
subject
should,
to
because
that could be a subject.
League.
That could be a subject to another conversation in itself.
Yeah.
But if we don't, you can bet that he's going to play. I mean, he's got no choice.
But we're a better squad from 3 years ago. So
100%.
We've got the money to spend. So we should be able to get ourselves a quality striker.
Yeah.
There's players out there that are ready to come to us.
I agree with.
They need our club needs to be making contacts now rather than waiting.
Yeah, we got to get to work immediately.
Yeah.
It should have been actually.
I know he's a little bit concerned by the fact, though, that today was a day we had to win.
Yeah, well,
really, in circumstances, had the games went a different way and we failed to do so against a team. Now, I did say this to Josh on Wednesday. This is a game I put in the Fulham bracket, the Bournemouth bracket at home. David Moyes is a tactical. Now, look at Everton when they were getting into Europe regularly. What were they doing? 1-0 wins, 1-0 wins, 1-0 wins. They set a record for it, and I suspected that this game was going to go a similar way. Mm-hmm. It did.
Yeah. Thank you, Ian Fleming.
From the moment of going in front was just absolutely batter our midfield and not let them get the ball out wide.
By the way, it looks like Mohamed Salah is got the boot of got the highest.
He's got the golden boot, isn't he?
They got the golden boot, and I don't know who may have gotten the best player of the Premier League, but
Matt Sell's got the Matt Sell's
goalkeeper. Former Toon player.
The worst goalkeeper I've seen in Newcastle shirts.
Yeah, haven't they?
Yeah. And fair. I mean, listen, just a special honorable mention to Forest that they tried it. And I don't know if they'll have enough to do it again, but just a wonderful season for them. I think
they've got conference. I think if you'd have given any Forest fan, Europe this season, they would have taken it with a handshake. And they've done amazing.
We will
and
do
they've got owners with money. Let's not forget they've got owners with money.
We will do a Premier League with some Premier League lads, YouTube content creators on Tuesday. So join us for that one when we talk about the Premier League and how it ended. Ian Fleming, thank you for the £5. Says I don't want to go through a day like that again. It was dreadful, wasn't it? To a certain extent.
Thing is, we just seem to do this all the time.
I was
we seem to put the pressure on. Always like a last game or something. We got to do something, and we always seem to fluff it. And someone else bloody gets us out of the shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's never Man United, though, is it? Let's be honest, after last season.
The thing is, we've finished to go above them 2 seasons in a row. We've beat them for the first time, twice in a season for the first time in 90-odd years. And then they go and help us out.
Yeah. It's tough because...
I've lost on 2 teams. I had... Brighton to beat Tottenham, and I had Villa to beat, and the only 2 teams to lose. I'm quite happy to lose that for £500 off a fiver.
Oh yeah,
we got Champions League. I am quite happy.
Yeah, and it's tough because just on the looking at the table, we could have easily been second if we would have handled our business.
Yes,
and just that puts things. Not to be negative, but when you try to analyze how it ended. That also could have been a motivator for the players to be like, man, you finished second, man. Out of Liverpool, clearly they won it, but you're second in the Premier League. That would have been a different statement to what it ended up being because it still gives truth to the people that say, well, Man City, don't worry, they'll be there. They ended up being there. As much as we like to say, and people like to say that they had the worst season, people want to go at Pep Guardiola for this, for that. They're third. Without.
It's funny, Chris. The same presence you blame. You were present when we got battered 4-1 off Bournemouth.
Yeah. I wasn't.
I've kind of getting to the point where I think, come on, Champions League, come on!
Lee there in the background. Lee, who's been traveling, by the way. Lee's been traveling, being the Toon Traveler. He's going to Turkey?
He's talking than you, Chris.
I know, man. He's been going around, man. He's got too much sun. But
Yeah, he's been
so
tricky. But I still blame you for that result. So
yeah. Well, Steve here says no, Chris. We lost 5 games at home to clubs below us. That has to be something to take into account. I know that Win likes to think that the Premier League anybody can. It's not really true though. People look at Leicester, look at Ipswich, look at Southampton. You know, you expected this.
my ears are feeling.
You know, we expected. And by the way, Tottenham 17th, which is incredible
Shocking.
to look at. You know, so you can beat those teams. Bournemouth had a good season as well, but you know, 4-1 at home, is that really what we weren't as great at home than we were in past seasons? By the way, that's
No, not at all.
So
That's something we need to put right next season. St James's
Yeah.
Park used to be the fortress. It isn't anymore.
yeah, Billy
You look at it
Pride
even last
Ox.
season. You look at the Luton game,
Yeah.
4-4 was it?
Yeah.
You got the West. Them games were really close to each other, weren't they? The Luton and the West Ham game where Harvey Barnes came off and saved it. You know, there's nothing. The fans are not to blame for that because every single time they're behind them, it's a mentality of the team. I mean, you look at the Luton squad; they're playing League One next season.
Mhm.
So why were we so off at that day? You know why? For me, it's numbers. You've got to have fresh legs. As much as I love Joe Linton, as much as I love Tonali, I'm happy to see players come in their predicament in Carabao Cup games, FA Cup games, if it means that they're safe for the Champions League games next season. We have to build, Elliot Anderson for me has been a massive, massive loss, and he's been a massive gain to Forest. He is a player I see Eddie wanting to try and get back.
Well, 100%. You know, I agree with that. I agree with it. I mean, maybe you can say, well, Forrest didn't want Longstaff or Willock or any other, and if that's the case, clearly there's nothing you can do. To make
I see him
that
coming
a
back.
PSR exchange. But I rather much would have loved to keep him over any other midfielder we got at
How
the
much
moment.
is he going to cost, though?
I mean, trying to buy him, it almost feels wrong, because we had
It
him
does, doesn't it?
and we let him go, and that's the thing, we need to focus on football, winning. That need to be the focus of the club for the next 20 years, to be honest with you, and not selling, not making. And I know we have to, and you're gonna have to make these deals, I guess, that people don't like, and I guess that's what the Anderson deal was, and unfortunately, there's nobody you can blame to a certain extent.
Used to
It
save the
just
club.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Christopher Raul says Raul Minte as well, amazing for Brighton. Certainly
Yeah.
was, and he scored
Totally
against
Yeah,
us.
we missed two players, didn't we?
And that's and look, 2 players right there, but that's the depth that maybe we struggle with not having at the end of the season. Just those 2 players right there that could have been a difference maker, and they're not world class players,
No.
but they are very
Had we
good
had
Premier League players.
Had we had them, would we lose against Fulham? Would we get battered off Bournemouth? We could have finished second.
Yeah,
What with them 2 players?
I honestly think with rotation with them 2 players, we could have finished second. Yes.
Yeah.
because you gotta look at the other games during the season, earlier games where we lost points, and say maybe these players would have played there because we had the Carabao Cup final or semifinal where we prioritized the semifinal of the cup, and maybe on the Premier League matches during that time we didn't. And I'm just speaking out of out of the blue. I'm not 100% sure who we played, didn't play. I can't remember, but
No.
it makes you
You
wonder.
You look at somebody who can come on, like you said about changing games. Now these aren't big names. These aren't players with notorious backgrounds, but they're different players. They're players that are confident to run with the ball, and Elliot Anderson. I got called out last season for saying that Anderson's a good player, and there was a lot of people in the chat saying he's rubbish. He's a worker. He's a hassler. He's the one who will get you the ball back. He'll win those more of those 50-50 challenges than he'll lose.
So underrated in tight spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. And he does things simple. Now, I think he's been one of the players of the season for Nottingham Forest this season. And then you look at Minte, another player who, again, isn't a worldie. He isn't a notorious name. But what he does, he brings something different to that right-hand side. He works. He's very much wants to get in behind you all the time and cause hassle. And that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately for Newcastle, we have very few players that want to get in behind. Well, when you bring Isak out with that middle line up top, how many players do you see, apart from Harvey Barnes on the odd occasion today, who wanted to run in behind?
Look, Gary, you'll agree. My wife was watching the Bundesliga highlights with us the other night, right? And I said, we're talking, and she went, how is he doing this? And when he's got no pace and blah, blah, blah. And now, when you stick him in the Newcastle team at the moment, he would get 10 goals a season because you've got no two players that are willing to run beyond him. Isak picks it up. They run parallel to him. Yes, okay, they'll run in behind. But when you've got Kane, you have to have, and I think we're suffering a little bit, the fact that we know that Isak, as you've just correctly said, is able to beat somebody and run in, that no one's gambling and they're just running off the ball. What's wrong with running off the ball?
Nothing.
It's unselfish runs.
Yeah.
These great goals, how many often do you see on Match of the Day where they go, so-and-so's made an unselfish run and made the space for the shot? We do not do that.
No. We've got too many players that think. Steve made a comment about chances. Now, I commentated throughout that game. I think even if we were playing until next weekend in that system, I don't think we'd have scored all day. Because there just wasn't enough creation. And we've seen it against Wimbledon, for God's sake. It's not this isn't just against Everton. This is to any team that plays in a low block. We try and create the perfect goal. No, we're not Man City. We're not Liverpool. And I think you've got to have players that have a vision within the goal box, the penalty area, if you like. And unfortunately, with Newcastle at the moment, we've got individuals that can create, but we've got no individuals that see the vision. And I think, unfortunately,
sorry, I don't know if you agree. The run off the ball is with the hope of receiving the ball rather than an unselfish run.
Yeah. But it's like I said, you've got the likes of Tonali, who's got a great shot on him from 30 yards. Anywhere from 30 yards. He had the opportunity a couple of times today, and he decided not to do it. I think we need to start doing that more against teams on the low block. We need to start letting go of the ball a little bit early. And even if it goes iron wide, so what? It doesn't matter. Have a go.
Exactly.
You've got to start challenging defenders to say, I need to close you down because you're good at striking the ball. And once you start doing that, it creates opportunities for other people to exploit the space that they allow you to have.
When your best strikers of the ball are on the edge of the box and they dummy one, all the defenders are going to rush out to try and close you down. You can play a little fucking round the little ball. If a midfielder's making a run, when the defenders are rushing out to you at the edge of the box because they think you're going to shoot, you can just play a little ball, but we don't do it often enough. Tonali, for me, I said this months ago, is far better striker of the ball than Bruno is.
Oh, much better. Yeah, much better.
Much better, honestly. And I got laughed at in the comments. Laughed at.
I've got a question here. How many players do we need this summer to compete in both League and Champions League? Well, that's a very, very hard question.
I think at least 5.
Well,
I agree with that.
I mean, for me, you've got to think, if you're doubling up in every area, what you've got to question yourself now is virtually the answer that Andy gave you at the start of the chat. How many players on the bench actually come and change the game? Because in the Champions League, to compete at the very highest level, you've got to have game changers in the squad. So, that number you can literally pull out of a hat. Because you could go quite far with just having 3 players brought in. But if you want to compete with the highest teams at the highest level, you've got to have 5 or 7. I would have thought.
Yeah.
Doesn't it also matter how much Eddie's willing to rotate as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's very reluctant to rotate a winning team, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think next season we're going to have to. I think depending on how many players are leaving, you're going to replace them and bring more in,
which is a lot more work and a lot difficult to do because you're going to have to replace. Hopefully, nobody leaves. Other than nobody that's important, obviously.
Guys, I've got to go because I've got guests. But
yes,
no problem, man.
Thank you,
later.
And I've managed to get on.
And
My
now,
room is getting painted next week
There you go.
way.
Hey, there you go.
for a green screen and the shit. So I'm hoping
Yeah, man. We're
when I
excited.
come on, you're not going to be seeing me Tom Hardy posters. You're going to be seeing
Green screen.
you're going to
All
be
right,
seeing all
brother.
my Newcastle memorabilia I've got all over there in the other
Well
room.
done, mate.
So thanks for
Sounds
having us,
good, mate.
guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
Gary,
You, Andy,
Chris,
mate.
Take care,
Good, mate.
buddy.
Ciao,
Have a
mate.
good
Cheers. All right. We thank you to Andy there. If you want to come on, have your say. The link is pinned in the chat. Come on, have your opinion read out, said out loud. No, don't need a camera or anything. Just say your opinion. You don't have to stay long either if you don't want to. We get gifted 5 memberships away. They've gone to Davey. They've gone to Jake. They've gone to Gilly. They've also gone to World of Warcraft Noob and Martin Makepeace. So congrats to all of you to the NTTV Plus membership. Please renew it when you can and help the channel. If you can donate as well, please do that. If you're willing to do that, that helps us, to move forward and obviously keep the channel running. So thank you very much to everybody that contributes. And let's go with some of the chats here that I've been able to start some chats from some folks. William Smith Mitchell has his work cut out for him this summer. Yeah, he's gonna. All eyes will be on him now for the next month and a half, 2 months. That we are, this whole window. When does it start? End June, right? Beginning of June.
Yeah, beginning of June. The
so
first
all the way to end of July. So all eyes will be on him, literally. Ronald Turnbull Osula was our man of the match, which is sad to say for a player that didn't play that long.
Yeah.
So Rick Murphy here says, agree. It's a culmination of what we did the last 10 months, but not an ideal ending. Yeah, agree with that, Rick. Steve, by the way, says, I smelled it after the first 5 minutes. Moyes is such a good manager when it comes to stifling football. Howe had no answers, but we did it, and that's all that matters. There you go. So Terberg here says Moyes, highlighting Moyes and saying that Howe is not embarrassing. Ben Arfa, he says, yeah, Howe is the best manager we had so far. Wilson was the best striker. Wilson. We had since Dembaba. But you have to be ruthless. Get in Isak, get to the next level. So 2 contrasts of opinions there. Actually, we got Ben Arfa here joining us. Ben Arfa, NUFC. Ben Arfa, how you doing, mate? What's your name, actually?
Happening, lads? All right. Adam.
Hi, Adam.
Adele, how's it going, man? All good?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How's everyone?
Very
We're doing
good, mate.
great,
Very
man.
good.
So what do you think about the game? What do you think about the season?
Well, this very contrasting between the two.
Yeah.
The game was a bit. It gave me a heart attack, man. I think I needed to take 2 paracetamols after that, man. But the game wasn't the best. But the season, we can't overlook. Obviously, getting a cup, and also finishing in the Champions League. But yeah, I wanted to come on as well. I wanted to be a bit controversial, in the sense where is it time for us to be ruthless?
Yeah.
To go to that next step. But yeah. The game, not so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
agree with that one.
I'm just leaning towards the belief that we just ran out of gas and we ran out of petrol, man. And unfortunately, it happens. And listen, if we would have missed out on Champions League, that reason, I mean, I probably wouldn't have given you that reason. I probably would have been more critical because ultimately you still are 11 top players and you still got to get it done, right? If you want to be part of the big teams, the big clubs, you just got to get it done. But we just had enough. We just had enough to get to the petrol station, man. And fill up again.
Exactly. I just want to do a big shout out to Shelley. I mean, she's been with us all the way through the live, and she was superb. Some really
fan.
nice contribution. Yeah, good Everton fan, and you are so much better with Moisey at the helm. To be fair, and like I said, a couple of players I seriously would love in a black and white shirt. I'll tell you now. I think they fit the role really well, and Moisey gets the best out of really average players, and he deals, like I say, it's horrible to say, but the way his tactics set up today, he just frustrated Newcastle all day. And like I say, we we sometimes just have to bow and say the best team won on the day, because we just didn't create enough in front of goal for me to actually come away as winners today.
Yeah. And 13th in the league, Everton finished up, which was going to be a tough season, look relegation type season in the very beginning, and then they managed to get close to mid-table. But come back, Shelley, come back every day if you want to, but come back definitely on Tuesday, because we'll be talking about the Premier League here on this channel on the Geordie Biased Premier League show, where we'll just talk about the Premier League and how it ended. So let's go. We got Strasbourg Steve as well in the building. Steve, how's it going, mate? All good?
I'm furious we lost, but hey, we got UCL and the Carabao Cup, so all is forgiven. But Jesus God, that was a frustrating game. Shout out Pickford. I thought he was very good for them today. And you know what center back we could do with next summer, who I liked a lot last year at Olympique Lyonnais, Jake O'Brien. Jake O'Brien. If you've noticed, slight Everton tangent here, just to tell you why I want him, right? So Dyche, they were god-awful under Dyche this season. They were very, very much risking relegation. They hired Moyes. O'Brien starts playing right back, bosses it. Then he gets in at center back because Young came back, bosses it. This guy is a very, very good defender, very steady, good on the ball, very good in the air. I think this kid's a real boss. So shout out Jake O'Brien. He was very good for them today. But yeah, frustrated, very, very frustrated we lost. Everton seemed to have our number regardless of the manager. It seems like we haven't beaten them in 4 games. I think that's 2 L's and a draw. So Everton next year is going to be tough. But overall on the season, yeah, it was phenomenal. Surpassed my wildest expectations. I thought we'd get 7th. I thought obviously we didn't do enough in the past 3 windows. But anyhow, done really, really good to get us here. So and obviously the Carabao Cup is the big one. So go big or go home this summer in the transfer window. Go big or go home. Let's really push the envelope. Let's see what we can do next season in terms of competing for league or cups, and see what happens in the UCL. But yeah, weird way to end the season. And again, I mean, we kind of have to shout out Man United. I did not.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That's what Cenk in the chat is saying. The same thing.
I did not think we would win that game. I did not. I didn't think that they would win that game. I thought we'd win ours like a 1-0 gritty. Turned out to be the opposite. But yeah, it's crazy how things shaped up. But yeah, overall happy. But on the side, I'm furious we lost, yo.
Yeah.
But
Ben Alfred, what you saying?
I'm just annoyed that Chelsea finished above us because that silly.
I don't give a fuck about all that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not really. I hear it.
Oh, we finished above them. No. It was just
it almost felt like Chelsea were actually, I don't know, they felt like they were just quiet the whole season and nobody talked about them. Or as far as I'm concerned, they just creeped up, kind of like Man City did at the end as well. But it is what it is, I guess. We barely had enough. Aston Villa will be. I mean, they got Euro, which is good, I guess. But that's it. Newcastle, Aston Villa, and I'm telling you. I don't know about Forest if they're going to be back, but maybe them. But definitely Tottenham, I think, are going to be. And Man United as well. I don't think they're going to have the horrible seasons like this again. But that's going to be that's it. Those are the spots to fight. But we managed to get Champions League, which is great in hindsight.
The only thing is, though, I'm going to be annoyed now if Isak leaves or, Livramento leaves or whoever. Like, we're shaking our heads, and trust me, I don't want them to leave. But people say, oh, the UCL guaranteed means they stay. We don't know this. There's no guarantees. Real Madrid might be selling Rodrigo. They're in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So I know I know there's context with everything, but just because. No, sorry,
on the Ashley, we would have, but I don't think Yasser will sanction those sales. He'll be like, no, like I don't think we're them kind of players. Because don't forget, before no, I don't think none of them have any release clauses, do they? So it's
No.
kind of like
Yeah.
if you don't, unless you give us like silly, if they come out with like 150 mil for Isak or something like that, then or like 80 mil for Livramento or something, they ain't going anywhere. They're
No.
not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
so.
but here's my overall point is we never know. There are surprises in football.
Well, because
If you told anybody at the start of the season Tottenham were going to finish 17th but win a trophy, you would have laughed your head off. For
Yeah.
both things are equally as crazy.
As bad as each other, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, it's
So
crazy
we're
because
not
Real Madrid could come for and persuade Isak, and Isak say, "I want to go," and then what do? You can't do nothing other
You
than
never
just say
know. Yeah.
you got to pay this amount, and so hopefully it doesn't happen. But let's go with more comments here. Vendetta says, "How come we can't get Isak into games anymore? That shows either he isn't doing enough or the midfield and wide players are not doing enough."
Be back in a second, Chris.
Yeah, no worries. We have to improve on 12 losses next season. Well, Gordon talking about, I don't know what's happening. Who's crackling there? The fact that Gordon can't get motivated for some reason, I don't know why. Isak is struggling, but you can say how many times has he been put in a position to score? That can be the question. But Gordon, I mean, he's not bothered.
I think Gordon's gone.
I don't know.
He's just had a long season.
Sorry, Stephen, go on.
I just think he's had a long season. Couple of knocks. He's been playing with injuries. So maybe he's just lost a bit this season now. Get out across the summer now, get fit again, and he'll start the season.
I'll tell you one thing that
he had a long season last year, though. Remember, we were champions.
Well, I had a good season last year.
But don't forget, he's had that foot injury this season, which has affected him. He's been playing with the pain, and I think it's now come to a head where, he's just exhausted for this season.
Yeah.
You could probably say the same thing about a few players around the league. Foden. I don't think Foden will be this bad as he was this season. I think he will be better next season. You could say that about maybe an Odegaard. I don't rate Odegaard.
Where's he going to go, though? Because he's leaving City.
Who?
Foden's leaving.
Where to?
Don't know, but there's rumours this week that he's leaving. It was said he's leaving.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. Well, I'll go
for
you
take him?
I think Foden's leaving.
I'll take Foden. Yeah, hell yeah, I'll take Foden. In a heartbeat. What do this thing that in Newcastle they got to be sanctified before they come to Newcastle. I don't believe in that crap. If you're a good player, I want you. If you're a good player, I want you. If you're an elite player, I want you.
De Bruyne. De
Bruyne got an amazing experience. What about Luka Modric? He may be in an age in his career where he can be a teacher and somebody that can get the club and the locker room right as far as playing in pressure moments and teaching players what is to win, what a big elite club mentality is. I know he's not going to be there.
Modric on a free, yeah,
exactly. Why not go out there? He just left. Listen, we don't have because people may say, well, you said that we were about to win, and he just left Real Madrid. That is about win. Maybe into a different. But we're not in the same. If Madrid don't win, the world ends. And if we don't win, you'll have fans that say, well, we'll try it again next season, and it's fine. But it's a different type of phase that we're on. We want to win, but we still need to learn the ways of winning. And I think Modric could be great.
Trippier, obviously Trippier isn't Modric, but Trippier is. Yeah. He's towards the end. We got him from Atletico Madrid. Won the La Liga there. Was already like prem proven and all that stuff.
Exactly. We got him.
But he gave us not only like experience and all that, because experience is only as good as your quality is in the actual game. But Trippier has been a great signing for us.
Yeah,
great signing.
I don't think. Tony is talking about Grealish. I don't think Grealish can play. We got too many left side. I mean, we got Barnes already there, and I think Gordon won't go anywhere. But he's going to have to change.
Can you imagine Grealish in Newcastle, man?
Yeah, it's tough. But when it comes to Grealish and when it comes to Modric, I've always been preaching this. I think it's Newcastle, Tottenham, again, Man United, and Aston Villa pushing up for those spots. I think Grealish might be persuaded to go to Aston Villa. I think Modric could be, I don't know, but he could be approached by Spurs to come back. Don't
They
know.
did it with Bale. They brought Bale
They
back.
did it with Bale, so I don't know if I don't think any of those clubs that I mentioned are in a position to look up and be to say I don't want a player like Modric, to be that what do you call it, arrogant, to say I couldn't use a player. I don't think we're in that position. I think we're in a position where we need bodies. He doesn't have to play. You know that he's not going to. You don't have to play him every time because you got good starting midfielders, but you might need him from time to time. So I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. But yeah. Tony says, "Speak for yourself, Chris. This world feels like it ended because we got beat by Everton. That feels sick." Well, look, I mean, we got beaten, but we ultimately by the skin of our teeth, we made it.
Well, if you think of it, right, how many teams have gone out there and it's like they're 0-0 at towards the end of the game, and they've got to dig out a goal, and it may win them, do them something to them. And it might help someone else.
Here's the thing.
Hey, it happens.
No, because Andy and Tunut might be saying the same thing. Some of these players mentioned aren't peak players anymore. Tunut says we need young players. I disagree with that. We don't need young players. We need players.
We need quality.
We need quality. We need players that know how to win. Under pressure. We need players that don't get scared. That don't fall apart under pressure. And today is the day where you can say, well, some players show their colors when it comes to pressure, or maybe they didn't because we won the cup against Liverpool, right? But Gordon didn't play against Liverpool, by the way. No. Gordon didn't play against Liverpool, and Gordon didn't play well tonight when we were under pressure. So you got to put everything into perspective and analyze, cold-bloodedly analyze the situation. Because if you think, okay, we made it and everything is good. It's just as good as saying we passed the test, the exam, barely by cheating, but we passed it, so we're good, right? We can't do that. We got to analyze everything, but
I think you look at age and you say you don't need young players or anything else. I mean, listen, Yamal's 17. And he goes to Barcelona and plays for Barcelona. Age is just a number. If you've got the mentality and the confidence to perform week in, week out and take the game to the opposition, your age isn't against you.
Exactly.
It can be for you.
100%, because Osula is showing signs that he can do something. You will never know if he doesn't play. So, and at some point, you as a manager had to say, look, experience is one thing, and I agree with it, but not everybody has to be experienced, right, to be able to play. So,
Callum Wilson's experience. Hey guys, today in the game, first of all, substitutions at the time, it should have been reverse. You bring on Osula first when we brought on Wilson, and then you bring on Wilson and you give him the that kind of thing. But
I don't know
who brought more to the game, the young Osula or the old?
Well, people are
but where did he play, Steve?
Osula?
Yeah.
The wing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You won't have the same Osula through the middle.
That's true.
Well, so that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. We don't know.
No,
we don't know. He's never been tried really for a long period of time.
Yeah, but you saw when he came through the middle the other day, it was soon clear. It was clear to me. You've got a player who plays on train tracks. There's no point. You've got Wilson who plays on train tracks. There's no point. You've got to run the front line like Beto did today. If you want to learn off anybody today, have a look at the way Beto run our three centre halves ragged. That's how you run the front line.
Beto did a little. Beto did not a lot, but he had little to work with, but he
grafted.
It was a positive. He did a lot with a little, essentially.
What I saw, we gave them when they had their runs up front. They seem to have a lot more space than they gave us in their box area.
Yeah, because we were pressing though, Steve. That's what I'm saying. When you're gambling and pressing into the half space, the trouble is for me, it was the collective mistakes. It wasn't individual. I mean, when you're passing balls 5 yards, you can't pass 5 yards into an area that's allowing a player on your side to stretch, because then you're not going to control the ball correctly. you gave Everton the opportunity to break. And when they broke in twos and threes. They didn't broke as a unit. They broke in twos and threes.
Yeah.
But they break with pace.
Through and die.
Yeah,
Good
and then
job.
exactly. When you break with pace, you can be 2-on-2 at times with pace. And I mean, to be fair, I thought Botman was really poor today. Botman was playing the player rather than the ball most of the times. And when he mistimed this run to block the player, the ball would check into another space and then Beto would find that hole or somebody else would. So I think sometimes individual errors, and that's what I was saying during the live watch-along, individual errors was creating more pressure than Everton was giving us. We were creating our own pressure.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, going into the second half, that proved the point.
All right,
I think if it wasn't for Pope,
it's been an hour. We got to call it off. It's been a great season so far. We're going to do the full review of the season on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. UK. We'll do the Premier League preview on Tuesday at 9:30 UK. So 9:30 p.m. UK. So please join us. We got a full catalog for you. Everyday live shows, videos. So please hit the like button, subscribe. We'll go with the last comment from Bojan here, who says this game showed everything we need and where we are lacking. Maybe the loss has a silver lining. So it needs to be. You know, you got to analyze the losses harder than the win sometimes.
You learn more through losing.
And Tony, I wish we were, but we're not. We're not off, man. We're going to always bring you shows. No worries. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the tune. So, no, we don't. I think we have a couple of days off of Christmas time. But not really. We'll have shows every day. No worries for the most part. So thank you, everybody, that joined us.
Sorry, I was just going to say, sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, this damn channel better be doing crazy. Bro, because, again, go big or go home with the transfer window. I hope this channel is worked like dogs. I hope Chris has to call. I hope Chris has to call and text me and be like, Steve, I need you to host a show.
Certainly, man.
Because I'm been streaming the past 24
right.
hours. I
just want to say thank you all for supporting the channel this season. It's been fantastic. And like I say, loved every minute of it. So cheers, everybody out there.
Thank you, everybody. And of course, Mighty Mag there says, member for 15 months. Great commentary by Gary all season. Much appreciated. So there you go. Thank you, everybody. Please hit the like button. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Gary. Highway the lads. We're in Champions League. We're champions again this season.
We won the fucking Carabao.
Come on.
Exactly. We'll be back again. Tomorrow we're off Sunday, but Monday we're back again. Oh, actually, today's Sunday. Sorry. Tomorrow is Monday. Yeah. We're back again tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. UK, talking about what's left, what's happened, the aftermath, I guess you can say, after everything settled down of Newcastle United making it to Champions League once again in such a short amount of time. So we'll see you tomorrow again, folks. Thank you, everybody. How are the lads? Take care. Bye-bye.
Come on, the lads!